Good morning, guys, and happy Tuesday. We're going to start off today with a little review of the metric system. So, remember when we're changing from one metric unit to another, we're really thinking about multiplying and dividing. Put my pen here. Multiplying and dividing by tens, by hundreds, and by thousands. Now, remember when we multiply a number by 10, we move the decimal once to the right. When we multiply by 100, that's like multiplying by 10 twice. So we move the decimal twice to the right. And when we multiply by 1,000, it's like multiplying by 10 three times. So we move the decimal three times to the right. The opposite happens when we're dividing. Now, we're choosing whether to multiply or divide based upon whether our unit is getting big or getting bigger or getting smaller. So for example, this first one here says 190 centimeters equals some number of meters. Now, one thing we know, hopefully, is that 100 centimeters equals 1 meter. That means if we have 190 centimeters, we definitely have over 1 meter. And we almost have 2 meters, since 200 centimeters would make 2 meters. So since I'm going from centimeters to meters, I'm going to a bigger unit. I'm going to divide this 190 by 100 because I'm going from a small unit to a big unit. And that means I'm going to move the decimal back twice. Now, in the number 190, remember the decimal starts out here at the end because it's a whole number. I move it back 2 times, and I end up with that as my final answer. 1 and 90 hundredths, or 1 and 9 tenths meters. All right, let's try another one. Let's do the last one here. So this one here at the bottom. It says 17 kg stands for kilograms equals some number of grams. Now, I know grams are significantly smaller than kilograms, so I know then that I'm going to need a whole lot more of those. Remember that 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. That prefix kilo means 1,000. So I know in this case then that I'm going to be multiplying by 1,000. Put down my decimal, move over 1, 2, 3 times, and I'm going to end up with 17,000 kilograms. As we practice multiplying and dividing by tens, hundreds, and thousands, this should get significantly easier. Now, a couple things to remember. Notice if we have a case like this, where we're going from millimeters to centimeters, you think of how many millimeters are in a centimeter. There are 10 millimeters in a centimeter. So that's something you have to think about for that question. So your first question is always, am I multiplying or dividing? What am I multiplying or dividing by? We can use the prefixes to figure that out. And then just moving your decimal. And that's really how we convert within the metric system. All right. Move on to our next question here. It says to find the perimeter and area of a rectangle. I'm going to draw that with a length of, and I'm going to redraw this just because the lengths and widths are closer than that. Notice it says a length of 9 2/10 and a width of 9. It means it's close to being a square. Those two, the length and width, are close together. So I'm trying to find the perimeter and area. Remember when we're finding the perimeter, that's just the distance around the outside. Now, one thing I noticed last week that we really got to be careful with is when we divide a whole number with a whole number in a decimal, remember that these nines are 9 whole meters, not 9 tenths of a meter. They're 9 whole meters. So we have to add those accordingly. Secondly, remember when we're finding the area, we're using, in this case, square meters. That would be a square that is 1 meter long and 1 meter wide. And remember to find the area equals length times width. So we're multiplying the length by the width. So 9 times 9 2/10. Think about that as you're going through on this question, because that's going to be really important. Also, remember that for perimeter, our units are just going to be meters because it's just a linear distance around the outside. All right, move on to the last question. It says, Chloe has an Amazon Alexa at home. She normally asks it things like, Alexa, play some music from my favorite movie, or Alexa, turn on the lights. Yesterday, though, she had a different idea. She asked Alexa to make her a homemade pizza as a joke, and without hesitation, a pizza appeared in front of her, warm to the touch. She was amazed. Over the day, she started asking all sorts of questions. A week later, she received a bill for $6,383.08 for the bill. All right, that's a lot. For every crazy question she had asked, Amazon charged her. She asked 44 questions. So for those 44 questions, she was charged $6,883.08. All right. How much would Amazon charge for 50 questions? So how much for 50 questions? So guys, this pretty much ends up being a case of what don't we know here? And what we really don't know here is what does it cost to ask a question on Amazon? What is it charging you for a question? So we know for 44 questions, she was charged $6,383.08. If we could figure out the cost for one question, then we can figure out the cost for 50 questions. So the first thing I'm thinking here is, well, let's find the cost of one question, 8 cents, by dividing by 44. If I divide by 44 here, that's going to tell me the cost of one single question. Now, again, if I can find the cost of one single question, I can find the cost of 50 by multiplying that number by 50. So think about that as you're going through finding the cost of one question by doing that division, which will then give us the cost if we multiply by 50 for 50 questions. I encourage you to give that a try. Awesome job, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.